Commissioner Kleinhans will lead us in an invocation and the pledge.
Our Heavenly Father, we bow our heads today and give thee thanks for this beautiful sunny spring day. We're grateful for the day that we had yesterday and for the opportunity we had of pausing and reflecting on what it means to most of the Christian world to have our Easter holiday. We're grateful for all the blessings that we receive from thee, and we recognize those. We're grateful to be citizens of the United States of America. We recognize the great blessing that that is. Please be with all of our military and their families as they serve and represent our nation across the world. Please be with us today and help us to use good judgment. These things we pray for in the name of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First up on our agenda is the approval of minutes.
I move to approve those minutes.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, motion passes. Next up, we have the approval of claims.
I'll move to approve our claims.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye, those opposed, motion passes. Weekly reports, new permits for the week of March 30th to April 3rd. We had 35 new permits issued. Fee amount collected of $7,888. Value amount $6,297,627. Little under $5 million of that is the commercial remodel of the CRH 7th floor for behavioral health. That report is available in the code enforcement office if anybody would like to take a look at that. First up, we have our county highway engineer, Danny Hollander. Good morning, Danny.
That's it.
The crew report for last week, we crack sealed on 450 North. We're out patching potholes with both the Durapatcher and hot box. We ditched on 850 South. We fixed the washout on the shoulder at 350 West and also 675 West. Worked on signs, and then we picked some brush up out of the right of way at Grandview and also along Youth Camp Road. Stuff that's fallen, so. That's all I have today.
Danny, do you have any update or any new information about the Harrison Lake Road closing?
They called
I hate to
last
put
week.
you on the block.
No, they called last week wanting more signs, and they said people were driving over it, but turned out the people were just driving. We've got a sign at the last intersection that allows people to turn around before they get to it. Well, people were driving around that sign and then turning around in somebody's driveway. They weren't turning around at the site. So that's all I've heard. That apparently no action has been done so far to.
Okay, we need to push that along somehow because we can't keep that road closed. I know, I understand the whole issue, but.
Anybody else have anything for Danny? Okay, thank
And,
you.
Milestone, plant open and they started paving today. They're paving a couple of roads that they didn't finish last year's list before they
Okay.
started this year's list, but they're
Excellent.
started today.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you for that. Okay, moving on. Today is second reading of consideration of an ordinance vacating public right-of-way to be known as the Old River Road vacation. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
Jeff Bergman, our planning director.
We thought we were gonna have Andreas here today.
Well, you stuck with me.
There you go. We can live with that.
Okay, good.
Isn't that the next things too?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep, I've got them all for you here this morning.
all right.
On this River Road vacation, you'll remember you saw this for first reading. Well, it's been a few weeks ago now, and this is really that remnant of old River Road. north of 550 North. And there's two property owners involved on either side of that remaining right of way. And they have both sought to have that right of way vacated. So what's happened between first reading and now is that the applicants have submitted to our office an administrative subdivision that would complete that process and document the vacation if you approve the ordinance. So that subdivision is largely in order and ready to proceed. And process-wise, at that point is when we come back to you all for the second reading, when we're obviously reasonably assured that the applicants are going to follow through with the documentation on the right-of-way vacation. So everything's in order there. I'm glad to answer any questions.
Okay, well, this is an ordinance, so this requires two public hearings. We had one a month ago, and today will be the second reading. So I will open it up for public hearing about number 2026-01, the Old River Road vacation. All right, no one seems to be here to speak for or against that. Commissioners, the first reading was passed Monday, March 2nd.
Carl, I think we've looked at it. I grew up in that area, but I think we decided that it has no value for the county and no future value, so, and I have not received a call on it.
I have not either.
Nor by.
So I'm okay on second reading.
So that being said, I'd make a motion that we go ahead and on second reading, go ahead and act on this ordinance vacating this public right of way.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. All right. I see the owners are back here, right? All right. Everybody happy? Okay, good. All righty. Moving on, we have some right-of-way dedications. Andreas was supposed to be here, but we've got Jeff instead.
You do.
Karen Thompson minor subdivision, Ben Baxter minor subdivision, and Shaw second minor subdivision.
Sure, I'd be glad to walk through those. So the Karen Thompson minor subdivision, this is a property on the west side of State Road 58. It's in Ohio Township. And they are seeking to create one new lot from that property. And in doing so, they're required to dedicate 0.3 acres of right-of-way along State Road 58, which they are proposing to do with their plat. And otherwise, this proposed subdivision has been through the subdivision review committee process, and everything's found to be in order. So their next step is this right-of-way dedication and having the county accept that.
Commissioners?
I don't have any issues with it. I'll ask you one question, Jeff. When
Sure.
you have a lot of times individuals that do these single lot subdivisions or even two lots, they don't really understand the process first time they're doing it. And then 20 or 30 years down the road, some new owner or their children or whatever want to create an additional lot.
Mm-hmm.
And if the first guy would have maybe used a little bit different process or system, it would make it a lot easier 30 years down the road. Do you guys review those and make any suggestions in that regard?
You know, the short answer is yes.
Okay.
And I think, you know, our group of private local surveyors that work with all these individuals, I think are
make those
astute to those
suggestions,
things as
right.
well, very much so.
And the answer is usually, oh, I'm never gonna, nobody's ever gonna build on that hill over there.
Right.
Nope, never.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of times we find applicants that are pretty focused on what they want to do
Right.
and
Okay,
have a
that's
hard time
good answer.
imagining the next
surveyors
scenario.
pretty much, and I've had that happen with me. They make suggestions and
Mhm.
it's not the first time they've been through it, so.
Right. Yeah, I think
Okay.
there's a way to give that advice, both from us and from the surveyors.
This particular vacation or dedication, you said that's on State Road 58.
It is, that's correct.
So does that right away go to the state of Indiana?
It does. It does.
Okay.
So you are
The other
accepting this on behalf of the public, but it is the state's right of way.
Okay. Okay. I'd make a motion then we go ahead and accept this dedication of right of way for the Karen Thompson minor subdivision.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Next up, Ben Baxter Minor Subdivision.
So Ben Baxter Minor, is generally in the same area. It's on the west side of Mount Healthy Road, in Jackson Township, so a little bit south and west. They're also creating one new lot. And in doing so, they are dedicating, again, about a third of an acre of right of way on, Mount Healthy Road. As with the previous one, this plat's been reviewed, through the plat committee. All the other comments have been addressed and everything's found to be in order. Again, their next step is, the matter of this right of way dedication.
I'll move to accept that dedication of right of way.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Next up is the Shaw Second Minor Subdivision.
All right, this might be an example of what you mentioned, Larry. This is the second lot out of this property, over time. But at this point, they are creating that one additional lot. This one is on the other side of the county. It's on the west side of State Road 9, just north of Hope. Again, one new lot for a total of 2 from this parcel. And they're dedicating a very small amount of right of way, 0.07 acres. Again, it would be state right of way there along State Road 9. And
I'll move to accept that dedication of right of way.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion passes. All right, Jeff, anything else for us today?
that is all. I'm going to give these to you to sign. I know you've got some other things on your agenda. Do you want me to hang out for these or do you want me to pick
We'll
them up
sign it
later?
for you real
Okay.
quick.
Thank you, Jeff.
Don't know that our auditor,
They're online.
might have to go next door to get the auditors. Just be 3 places.
Oh, yep, I'll take it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jeff, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, next up, we have a proposal from the sheriff's office for a canine purchase with a handler course. We have Brandon Slate online. Brandon, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Fine. Why don't you tell us what's going on?
Yeah, so we have a request to purchase a second K9 for the sheriff's office. This is actually would be a replacement for one that we had retired last year. It was late summer, early fall last year. We have 3 quotes, one from Von Lick, which was the most expensive, closest one. But our request is actually through Foss McHenry out of Michigan for 16,500, and that includes the purchase of the K9 as well as lodging and the training for our handler.
Brandon, this is a traditional canine. This is not the one we heard about a few weeks ago with regard to
Drugs.
audio equipment, video equipment.
No, this would be for
More of a
drugs,
traditional.
contraband, rescue. Yeah, sir. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. We had 3 quotes. We had Von Lick Kennels out of Denver, Indiana for $20,991. We had Ventosa Kennel out of Scotland Neck, North Carolina for $16,500. We had Faust McHenry FM K9 out of Berrien Center, Michigan, $16,500. Comes with a 2-year warranty on a dog, and with his hips, back, spine, elbow, major illness, and 1-year warranty on workability and training with qualified handler training.
Tony, can I ask Brandon a question?
Sure.
Brandon, you mentioned this dog is replacing one that had previously retired last year.
Yes.
How old is the retired dog? Or what's the typical age?
So typically, a lot of that depends on the health of the dog. I would say, from my experience with the dogs that we've had, 6 to 7 years is about the time you start at least considering it. But
Okay.
we have also had one dog that I'm aware of that was about 9 years.
Okay. Well, we've determined that in humans, that age is about 65. And I can testify that it's time to retire. And in dogs, I'm a little surprised it's not a little longer than that.
Yeah,
But I
like I
know-
said, it just depends on the health. And I mean, they a lot of times what we see is the handler ends up getting to the age where they're ready to retire or move on to something else, and that once the dog is within that window,
Right.
it's kind of tricky to reassign
Yeah.
a
But
canine
that
to
dog,
another handler.
after 6 years on the job, he's a valuable asset.
Yeah,
And you kind of hate to get rid of him
yeah,
or her.
yeah. I think the one that we retired last year was a little over 7 years old.
Okay, all right.
This
thank you.
purchase will be paid for from the Canine Donation Fund along with commissary funds. Is that correct?
That'd be correct.
You ready?
Yep.
I'll make a motion that we accept the quote from Ventosa Kennels.
Nope. Up
No,
one, 1,000
the one,
McHenry.
oh, Foss McHenry. They're both the same. $16,500.
Second,
We
Tony.
have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, motion passes. All right, Brandon, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. And next up, we have a ratification of an expenditure for Information Technology Department, County Zoom Services. Director Scott Mays. Scott, can you tell us a little bit about this?
Want to dock them a little bit?
Yeah, we should after last week and this week.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is our annual renewal of the subscriptions for all of the Zoom services that are used throughout the county. And I can report that we have not increased our number of licensed users over the past year. We remain at 17. The departments do a really good job of taking a single licensed account and doing everything they can with that, rather than paying for every single employee to have those expensive accounts. The same with the rooms, the room facilities such as what you see here that we operate from, the council chambers, all of our courtrooms, some of the courts have their own as well as the jail. The jail has their video arraignment rooms. So all of those, the total of 20 rooms. And the grand total for all services is $13,718.30. And that's budgeted in the IT budget.
So this is ratification. So they already took this money off our credit card.
They did.
This is the annual renewal agreement with Zoom Communications for all county Zoom room accounts. This runs from March 25th, 25. No, that can't be right. This says it's from 25 to 26. Gotta be for 26 to 27. Yeah, all right.
That may have been my typo.
26 to 27.
I'd
March
make a
25th,
motion, we
26.
go ahead and ratify that expenditure, Tony.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Also, next up, we have a consideration of an appointment for Title II ADA Digital Accessibility Coordinator. And being our digital guru, Scott, you're that guy. So can you tell us a little bit about this, what's going on here?
Yeah, the federal government passed additional Title II ADA compliance guidance and requirements. And as part of that, all of the digital content that we provide to the public, as far down as PDF files, the Zoom sessions you see, our website, anything that we do electronically has to fall under some certain criteria of compliance for ADA.
So we currently have a Title VI ADA coordinator who is Chris West, and that is for the physical aspects of ADA requirements.
Yes.
Restrooms, facilities, sidewalks, things like that.
Yes, sir.
now we have to have a Title II ADA digital coordinator. Tell us a little bit how we make our digital assets ADA compliant.
Sure. For example, the current website, we have, there's tools that people who may be visually impaired or audibly impaired, they can use on their computers to help assist them with whether it be reading the content through them on the screen or adjusting the colors so that they can see the content better for whatever their condition may be. And there's a compliance process or tool that you can use that assures that the way you lay out the websites, where the texts are, the images, that they're compatible with those types of reading tools that those people would use. And then taking that a step further, things such as PDF documents, there has to be methods in which an individual can tab through the document so that the readers can pick up on titles and the information that's underneath of those headings and such. So the structure of those documents has to meet those requirements as well. So essentially, it's a bit of an undertaking of kind of going through every single piece of digital information that we present to the public and just assuring that it meets those requirements. So be a process of inventorying all of that, testing all of that, and any kind of remediation that's required to make it all compatible.
The U.S. Department of Justice has issued a final rule under Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act, requiring all county governments to meet the WCAG 2.1 level AA standards. Commissioners are required to formally assign a county Title II ADA coordinator with responsibility for web accessibility, compliance, and grievance handling. Commissioners are appointing or here to vote on appointing Scott Mays, our IT director, for that indefinite term of Title II ADA Digital Accessibility Coordinator. Commissioners?
I'll make a motion that we appoint our IT director, Scott Mays, to that position.
Second, Tony.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, motion passes.
Scott is willing to do it.
Thank goodness.
It creates a lot of efficiencies if he does it.
I'm sorry, Riley, did you have a question?
How do you spell your last name, Scott?
M-A-Y-E-S.
N-A-Y-E-S. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, I didn't see you, Riley. I
All
apologize.
right.
Stuck back in the corner.
Yeah. Riley Gaunt is with the Republic. She's relatively new, but she's a good writer. Okay, next up, we have a proposal and agreement for courthouse flower beds with the Mudlarks Garden Club. This is their 56th year of planning, planting, and maintaining the gardens at the courthouse. In recognition of the United States 250th anniversary celebration this year, the color theme will be red, white, and blue. And the Mudlarks will not take any pay for the work they do. And we do pay for their materials, the shrubs, the plants.
I don't know how we pay for all of them for that amount of money.
Well, they're asking for $1,200 and it's been that for years. And they won't take a dime more, and they typically don't spend that. So, but this is our 56th year of the Mudlarks, and it's a good organization, very committed to the.
Well, we really appreciate the work that they do.
Oh,
And
yes.
they've done it for a long time.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion, we go ahead and enter into this agreement with the Mudlarks for $1,200 for
I'll second.
this year.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Yes, ma'am.
It's not why I came today, but I'm just curious, is there any specification that they not plant invasive species like Chinese honeysuckle is just taking over the woodlands? I just wondered if that could be specified. Probably they wouldn't do that.
They
don't
do
know.
shrubs and perennials.
Chinese
flower.
honeysuckle is a shrub.
Well, you got me on that. I don't know what a flower.
Or it's also called amber honey. I mean, you could just specify no invasive species. 'Cause it's a lot of,
They usually don't plant invasive species.
not assuming they would, but
Yeah.
nice that it's specified. It's really a disaster out in the country.
Tina, make sure we bring that up with them. Okay, when you talk, all right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, did we vote yet?
I don't know if we voted.
No. Do we have a motion and I forgot. Do we have a motion and a
I
second?
made the motion.
All right,
I'll
we have a
second.
motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. All right. Next up, last thing on our advertised list and the reason we're all here today, I think. It's the second reading, consideration of an ordinance amending ordinance number 2021-06, an ordinance to regulate the keeping of animals and providing penalties for violations thereof. The amendment to Animal Control Ordinance 2021-06 passed August 16, 2021. Some key changes: increasing cruelty to animal fines. Payments of violations given by Bartholomew County Animal Control have been extended from 5 to 15 days. Remove language relating to felines. Most felines picked up by animal control are feral, or a good number of them anyway. Feral cats are considered wildlife. Surrounding counties have already made this change. The Humane Society has increased the fee to pick up an animal from $10 per day to $75 per day. Ordinance with penalties must be advertised 2 times after past 7 days apart. And this would be effective immediately after second advertisement if passed on second reading. Today, it would become effective April 15th. This was the second reading of this ordinance. It requires 2 public hearings. We had the first public hearing last week. Today is the second public hearing. I'll go ahead and put that second reading into order. Everyone is welcome to speak. You have a 3-minute limit. Please stand, state your name and address for the record. I know we have a sheet up here, but I imagine most people will stay where they are and not come to the front.
I'll keep track of it.
But,
Are you, Tina? Or someone? Okay, all right.
Yeah, okay. So we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Yes, sir. Matt.
I'll go to come up here. I just have some clarifying questions.
Okay.
Regarding the.
Well, this is a comment time. This is a 3-minute comment time.
So is this not an opportunity to ask any questions regarding the ordinance?
You have 3 minutes.
Okay.
We'll do the best we can.
Okay, sure.
All right.
So my name is Matthew Neville. My address is 737 Lafayette Avenue. The couple of questions that I had, the first one was to follow up on a comment, Commissioner London, you had made in last week's meeting regarding that most felines picked up by animal control are feral. I believe I've quoted you correctly.
Well, that actually is in the writing. I actually think that's not quite correct. I think a large portion of them are. As a matter of fact, I just read that on there. It says that most are feral, but I don't think that's accurate. I think
Yeah.
about
About a third, maybe.
probably about a third.
So yeah, so in looking back at 2025, the animal control brought to the Humane Society 173 felines. And of those that did not succumb to any kind of, injuries they had suffered, 80% of those were adopted out to domesticated households with an average of about 90 days staying in our shelter.
Mhm.
So we did want to make that clarification in there that most of the animals that are picked up are in fact not feral. They are being brought to our shelter and then they are being adopted out.
And I'll stipulate to that.
Perfect. And so another question would be, how is the county commissioners or animal control planning to define what a feral cat is?
For our purposes, we're calling a feral cat any cat that is not socialized and has no identifiable owner.
So I guess, and I know you're not animal control, obviously you're not able to necessarily get into the weeds of what does that process look like if animal control officers are coming up to a stray cat that is kind of roaming around? What is their procedure or the policies to be able to truly determine whether or not that is a feral cat? Because it seems within this ordinance now, if it is a feral cat, it will not be picked up.
Yes, it will be up to the animal control officer to use their training and to make that determination.
Okay. Within section 3, subsection C, the language regarding the TNR or trap, neuter, release program was removed. And I guess my question to that would be, why was that language removed?
So that was actually interesting you bring that up because TNR was made legal in 2021. Prior to 2021, it was not legal in Bartholomew County. We were actually the ones that added that language in. And when it was brought to our attention, TNR, it was trap, neuter, return to the place that it was originally found. Can you say whether the Humane Society always takes the cat back to where it was found?
I can't speak to that. I do know we have some staff here that I think are planning to speak that may be able to talk a little
Can
bit.
anyone answer that question? Are all the animals taken back to where they are found and released.
What was the section again?
So
Three.
not 100%, but I can say that at least 80%. We released 15 to our own feral colony of the 80 TNRs that we did. 9 were brought by animal control and 7 were brought by a community member who did not want the cats returned. And ASPC recommends community cat relocation as an option if return to the original location is not an option.
So under our ordinance, it says that has been trapped and spayed or neutered to the location from which said cat had previously been removed. So the ordinance requires that the cat be taken back to where it was found.
I guess, is there a reason that the language entirely as a whole is being stripped out rather than any kind of
I think, as I
clarification?
recall, Tony, and I'm maybe hallucinating a little bit, part of our intent on that was we were aware of what she just said. The ordinance wasn't being followed because it specifically says, if I pick up a cat from Larry Kleinhens's woods or someone traps it, that cat is to be spayed, neutered, and then released back into the woods. She just stated that that's not always happening. Much of the time it's not. It's being released, and we didn't really want to tell the Humane Society. We didn't want to micromanage that, I think is kind of our intent.
Well, the big thing is that we don't control the Humane Society. And that's a very common misunderstanding.
Sure.
Because it's called the Bartholomew County Humane Society. People think that the county owns it and runs it, and we don't. It's a private organization. You set your own policies, and we pay you to work on those policies. But the ordinance stipulates that the animals have to be returned to where they were found.
But Matt, I think that was the part of most of the intent of that.
Okay.
Was we knew it wasn't going on exactly the way the ordinance stated it. So our intent was, let's just pull it out because we don't need to be telling the Humane Society where they can release a neutered or spayed cat that they feel is ready to be released. We didn't care whether they were released exactly where they were picked up or in some other colony. I think that's why we
Well, it's
changed
just,
that.
to us, when we were put forth the idea of TNR, the idea was that the purpose of TNR was to fill the vacuum that is left behind in that location by putting that cat back there. But if you don't put the cat back there, how does that fill the vacuum?
So my understanding that the
No,
removal
I mean,
of
can you answer that question? How does it fill the vacuum if you don't put the cat back where it was found?
I'm not sure I can necessarily answer that question.
Okay.
But I do want to make sure I understand that the removing this section is more to do with removing language within the ordinance that would be telling the Humane Society what to do and less of an attempt to
Well, we don't
not
tell
allow
the
TNR.
Humane Society what to do.
Sure.
We have no authority to tell the Humane Society what to do. Because the Humane Society is its own organization. We have no control over the decisions that the Humane Society makes.
But is your intent to remove the ability to do TNR within the county in removing this, or simply to?
Well, that's
Clarify
an interesting question too. Would you agree that the hot spots for TNR are mobile home parks?
I would say that's probably fair.
Okay. Under state law, regardless of our ordinance, it is legal to do TNR in mobile home parks. We can't stop you from that. That was enforced before 2021 when we entered into this. And it's still enforced today.
Okay.
State law says that you can do TNR in all mobile home parks. We cannot infringe on that.
Sure.
This strictly is talking about other areas within the county.
But would it be your intent in removing this language to kind of default back to the state laws, which would be that in essence, in Bartholomew County, you could only do TNR within those mobile home parks as provided by state law?
That is correct.
Okay.
Well, I think, Tony, we want to be careful that we don't pit the Humane Society against our ordinance. So
No,
if
we don't want to do
No,
that
I
at
know
all.
we don't want to, but we need to make sure we don't. And so I think we'll address that further.
Okay.
I think we need to put verbiage in that that it's clear that Humane Society is not in violation of the ordinance if they're conducting that type of operation. Because if we totally take it out and you look under abandonment, we've put the Humane Society in a position where they're abandoning animals by releasing them back into the wild.
So I think that's
I
part of
think
what we
that's
wanted to
your
clarify.
concern, right?
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that there is the ability to still do
Yeah,
that
that-
very valuable TNR program
Let's look at
within
that
the county.
further.
Well, you can certainly do that within mobile home parks. And that is,
But that
as you
doesn't
said,
cover-
the hot spots.
That would be a hot spot, but as Commissioner Kleinhans is saying, that's not, it doesn't cover the entirety of the county where there's still a lot of.
Out of the
issues going on.
out of the 150, how many, 170?
173.
173, how many would you say came from mobile home parks?
That I couldn't speak to. Our staff may be able to speak better. to
Does
that.
anyone have any idea or can make an educated guess?
We'll pull the numbers for that.
And it doesn't really matter.
Substantial, no, though, it's a substantial amount of that 173, right?
I don't know that we can accurately say that right now.
Okay, okay. But do know, no matter what happens today, you still have the opportunity under state law to do TNR in mobile home parks. Anything else, ma'am?
I think that's it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. State your name and address for the record.
Nancy Merbitz, MERBITZ, 970 Beech Tree Drive. I'm just wondering, does the Humane Society get funding for TNR from the county? And do these ordinance changes involve any change in funds?
They do not receive funding strictly for TNR. No, we have a contract where, I believe we pay them just under $1,000 per animal we take to the Humane Society.
And that would still be in effect
Yes.
with this ordinance change. And then the other question that comes up listening to all this, if cats are removed from a property where the owner specifically doesn't want all the cats on their property and they're taken in, and then there's ordinance saying it has to go back to where they came from, then are those cats just euthanized or what?
We don't tell the Humane Society what
No,
to
but-
do with the animals.
Pardon me, but from this ordinance, it sounds like if the officer determined with his judgment that it was a feral cat,
We wouldn't pick it up.
he wouldn't pick it up at
That's right.
all. Would he be at liberty to just dispose of the cat?
No,
When you say dispose of,
I mean, kill it.
no.
not our animal control officer, no.
Okay. And so if the owners don't want the cats back, it just doesn't get picked up at all. It just gets
Well-
left there.
I mean, they're not allowed to abandon cats.
But they, for some of these properties, it wasn't their cats in the first place. Or they might have bought the house and inherited the cats.
What should the county do about people that don't want animals? What should we do? I mean, at what point do the taxpayers have to keep eating the costs of that? Because I can tell you this, Ms. Mervitz, within the last 5 years, the costs of animals to the county has gone up 300%.
So this is primarily a financial concern. on
Not
the
primarily,
ordinance?
no, but it is a portion of it. See, we now have it was $90,000 my first year, 5 years ago, is what we paid the Humane Society. And don't get me wrong, I'm not criticizing the Humane Society. Their costs continue to go up as well. And we recognize that. And so now we have an agreement that pays per animal. And so we could easily spend $500,000 on this issue. And I don't know if anybody has been paying attention to the news, but the way county governments are going to be funded in the future is changing dramatically. We are going to take a hit financially from the state. Property taxes are going down. The bills are going out this week. Most homeowners will see a reduction in their property taxes. Not everyone, but most will.
So are you hearing a demand from homeowners to cut funding to support animals?
We're hearing a demand from citizens to not raise taxes.
Okay.
And there is absolutely no way that we can continue to provide all the services we provide with less tax money coming in and no tax increases. And nobody here wants to increase taxes. Nobody here is supportive of a tax increase. But right now, we could potentially spend $500,000 taking cats that nobody wants to the Humane Society. And we have a bridge that sits closed in northern Bartholomew County because we don't have the funds to fix it. So it's quickly becoming a serious priority issue. And so I hope you all understand the difficulty in the decisions we have to make.
Yeah, I mean, I do think one of the roles of government, I mean, every county has irresponsible citizens or people who are unable to keep up with their responsibilities, or somebody who buys a property and inherits a problem they aren't responsible for at all.
I can tell you this, there are counties, first off, only about half the counties in Indiana have animal control departments. It's not a requirement to do that. Secondly, there are counties, and I'm not going to name them, but there are counties who euthanize every single cat they pick up. And they're not very far away.
I hope that's not our role model.
And it is not. We don't want to do that. But we are recognizing feral cats as wildlife, and we're not alone in that.
Last question, the officer, if a cat runs away from them, I can say that cats that I have, if they were outside, would run away from a stranger. I'm not sure that would count them as feral. So I hope there's a lot of unknowns with this. I just wonder what prompted the ordinance change in the first place. And that's it. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much. Yes, sir. Sean.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm Sean Blyton, Executive Director, Bartholomew County Humane Society, 610 High School Drive. I just had a few questions. So Bartholomew County Humane Society regularly receives calls from the residents confusing us with animal control. What would you suggest we advise the residents do who have feral cats on the properties, creating a nuisance and destroying their property? What would you advise that we inform them of and tell them?
Well, this weekend, I think you loaned out some traps to someone that was having that particular issue. And then that owner was able to bring those animals to the Humane Society. Again, we can't tell the Humane Society what to do, but that would seem like a viable option.
If the public brings us cats that our in-house RVT deems feral and unadoptable as pets, and we spay and neuter that cat, what do you recommend we do with the cat at that point, since it can't be returned to its place of origin, or it isn't, when they get brought to us, our staff aren't taking these animals back to wherever anybody brings them from. What would you recommend we do at that point?
Sean, we have no recommendation for you. Again, we don't tell the Humane Society what to do or set their policies.
How frequently is Bartholomew County Animal Control returning TNR cats to their place of origin?
We have stopped doing that. I believe we stopped doing that last year. Initially, we were picking up the cats. You guys would have them euthanized. Sorry, you guys would have them spayed or neutered. And then we would do that. It just became too cumbersome for our animal control.
Understood. Awesome. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Nancy's hand was up first, please.
Is there any way you could repeat the questions
Questions?
back to, we cannot hear the questions at all.
Okay, let's,
I
Let's
know
move
how
it
to
forward.
take-
We'll just repeat the question.
okay, moving forward, we'll repeat the questions. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Laura Raymond, Raiman. My address is 1365 Hill Drive here in Columbus, Indiana. I don't have so many questions to address today. I'm only here just to make a statement of things that I think are concerning, or at least should be considered. I am not a member of the board. I am not on any committee within the Humane Society. I am simply a volunteer. Since there are so many aspects of animal rescue and animal advocacy that I did not realize or understand until I became fully engaged with volunteering and being part of those various programs. Overall, there's a big, I would think everyone here could stipulate that there is a general overpopulation of animals, especially cats, in this community. If the TNVR program, I think, is one of the most beneficial programs that we are able to offer through the Bartholomew County Humane Society, because it prevents further, it prevents the creation of more cats. So with the gestational period for a cat is 65 days. So not 65 weeks, it's 2 months. And then the one cat who is unaltered can produce thousands, ultimately will result in thousands of cats just because it's not spayed or neutered. So I think that is a big piece that needs to be at least addressed in any change of the ordinance, because if animal control goes out and says, oh, this is a feral cat, we're just gonna let it go. Okay, if that cat's not altered, it's gonna be able to continue reproduce, which is just gonna create more and more and more cats that animal care and control may have to deal with. And I understand resources are very limited. The county commissioners cannot dictate or regulate what the Humane Society does, but this ordinance will ultimately have a huge impact on the Humane Society's ability to do all the reduction of overpopulation. We are privileged, frankly, that we've been able to have a low-cost spay and neuter clinic, which has performed high volumes of alterations, spays and neuters.
We've contributed as a county to that in the past, to see that it happens.
And I hope that it can continue to happen, which is why I think a paramount thing here is maintaining the TNVR, not just if it's in a mobile home, you can do it, just period. TNVR needs to be able to happen without limitations. My biggest concern is just that we're creating more and more cats that are just gonna create more and more problems, but there is no resolution. Like, I don't know I have not heard the county provide an alternative of, if it's a feral cat, we're just letting it go. Okay, so then what are we going to do about all of these cats that are procreating?
Well, please understand that we're not saying let it go. We're just saying we're not going to pick it up.
But
What's
yeah.
funny about that?
Who will pick it up?
Tony, let's
That's
let.
what's
No, I'm curious, what's funny about that?
There's nothing.
I don't think there's funny about any of this.
The outcome is not funny at all.
No, none of
Your
it's funny.
argument is humorous.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if the county is unable to deal with feral cats within the county, I don't know what other agency resource is available to take care of that, which I hope this ordinance, if it is changed, would at least provide something to deal with this piece. Because it's just gonna result in more and more overcrowding, which isn't gonna help anything. Mass euthanasia, which I don't think anyone wants here, is not gonna be an option for public policy reasons and advocacy reasons. So I understand that I think one of the big purposes behind the change is to help provide and save some money to county taxpayers. But I think if we allow more cats to produce more cats, it's just gonna create more issues. And there has to be some entity to take care of it. And I think everyone here knows how limited resources are within county agencies, whether it's a private, a 501c3, anything like that. So I would just ask that.
Please finish.
Okay. I would just, again, there has to be, if all these changes are gonna take place and the county's not going to pick up this cat, there has to be some alternative. And so those are all the pieces that I would ask the commissioners to consider. So thank you for
Thank
your
you very
time.
much. James.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. Pearl, good to see you again, sir. Mr. Finance, nice to meet you. Morning, Mr. London. My name is Elizabeth James. I am a local attorney, but I'm the president of the board of directors for the Humane Society. I want to kind of start this. So far has been somewhat adversarial, but there are some good things in this ordinance.
Be careful,
Yeah.
they're having trouble.
There are some positives that I think we agree on, which are humans are the source of this issue.
Mhm.
The increase in fines, Tony, we've talked about before, is good. So I don't want to overlook that, right? We appreciate historically the efforts that have been made by the commissioners to contribute, most notably last year, to the tune of 10 grand to our spay and neuter efforts. I think we would, while we understand the vast majority of feral cats could be coming from trailer parks, that's not all. And given the rate in which they can populate, it's really scary to us to think that any area would be left vacant in being able to bring cats to us. We don't have the means by which to bring cats to our facility. That has been at the crux of our partnership with you all since 1966. We have worked together for 60 years.
60 years.
And I will say publicly, it is disheartening and upsetting that we would be not notified at all of something that is to impact our daily operations. So Tony, I do respectfully disagree that while you do not dictate what we do, this felt very much so like a slight because we have put so much in the last 12 months especially into decreasing animal population. So much. To ultimately, in the long run, our hope is to save the taxpayers dollars. I tell Sean all the time, I would love if he didn't have a job in 5 years. We're on the same side of that, but I do not think this approach is in furtherance of ultimately lowering costs to taxpayers, especially in our costs per animal model. And I wonder if you agree with that or no.
I don't know that I agree with that.
Why?
Well, because you're talking about hypothetical savings and we're talking about actual budgets. Do you have any data to prove in Bartholomew County that the Humane Society has saved the taxpayers money?
We haven't historically because we've had a flat rate contractual agreement. But since moving to a cost per animal model at the beginning of this year, we have a flat rate for the first 120 animals that are brought to us. After that, it's $950 per animal.
Right,
The hope
and so
would-
if we get a call that says we have a litter of 15 kittens, that's gonna cost the taxpayer almost $15,000 to bring those animals to you.
And if they don't get fixed, that's gonna probably be tenfold in 5 years. That's the crux of what this is about.
It's not, but we can't do probably, Elizabeth.
It's not probably, it's definitely.
Well, I don't know that that's accurate.
Were there any professionals consulted prior to putting this paper or putting this language in place? Any vets, any professionals consulted?
By your definition, no, probably
A
not.
veterinarian?
No.
So no one.
Well, we've talked to veterinarians.
Okay,
We have.
okay,
And we work with our animal control
okay.
department.
Would there be training provided to the animal control office to distinguish between feral and
Your 3
domestic?
minutes are up, Tina.
Yeah. Jackson County has already said they're not picking up any cats.
Okay.
They don't pick up any cats at all. Elizabeth, would the Humane Society be willing to cut their rate for cats?
We could talk about that, but Tony, we should have talked about this before it became public last
Well,
week.
Well, we didn't, so we apologize for that.
Larry, this has
You
been
gotta
60
know-
years.
It's been what?
It's a 60-year relationship. We
But
would have
we've
been
done that for
happy.
60 years. I think we've
We've been
been
happy
over.
to sit down. Yes.
Okay.
We
would've-
can't afford to spend $500,000 on this issue.
Well, then we can talk. But spay and neuter, we can't euthanize our way out of this problem. Let's fix the animals. Let's get them fixed together. That's all I have.
Thanks for your time. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Lauren Smith. My address is 1741 Caldwell Place. To go off of what Laura said and Elizabeth as well. So just basic Google searches that you guys can do. So one unaltered female can produce up to 30 kittens per year. So if we just guesstimate and be really conservative, there's gonna be about 50, we'll just say that, unaltered females. So that's 1,500 cats, right? And it costs money. But if we fix that one cat, we prevent 30. So in doing this, we're long-term going to save money. And I know the vacuum effect is an issue as well. But when you have unaltered females and unaltered males, there's gonna be more territorial things and you have to fix them. It's gonna create more of a problem, disease is gonna spread, and that's pretty much all we have to do. So I just want to go off of what they said and really advocate for it as well. It has to be done, or we're gonna have a huge issue. Yes, in 8 years, over 2,000,
No, 2 million.
2 million, sorry.
2
2 million
million,
cats.
72 cats from one unaltered.
We've only been doing this for 5 years. But we haven't seen any of the numbers go down.
It's gonna
And they didn't really go up much prior to that.
A lot of people are trapping, paying out of their own bank account, myself being one of them, hundreds and hundreds of them. So they were not taken to the Humane Society. They were not taken to animal control.
Can you give us your name and,
Vicky Stover,
okay,
233 North 500 W.
okay, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Mitchell. Address is 3120 Lake Stream Drive. That's in Columbus, Indiana, 47201. I'll be brief because I need to get to another meeting. But I just want to kind of echo what everyone has said. I understand resources are limited, right? But I see this as.
Can you come up to the table, please? It's not picking you up very well there.
Sure. I see this as
There you
an
go.
investment, right? Because if we don't spend some money up front, then we're going to have a much larger problem down the road. And that is backed up by research. As people indicated, you can, look it up online. I know you're saying this program is newer to our community, but it's not that new when you look across the states, and it's even, practiced in other countries. So we know that this program is backed by data, it's backed by research, that it's effective. And without engaging with it, I think we're going to have a much bigger problem long-term. So I would just echo what everyone has said so far, that I think this program is worthwhile. And I understand the language maybe, you said that you wanted to just pull the language because it wasn't being followed. But yet you're saying you don't dictate what the Humane Society does.
No, we just dictate what our animal control does.
Right. But if the issue is the language that, a few cats were not returned to their location because the property owner would not allow that, for example, perhaps the language should just be updated to say they should be returned whenever possible, but there might be some exceptions, right? If a
Wouldn't
property
wouldn't
owner,
that property owner automatically get another feral cat on their property because of the vacuum?
I don't think that's how the vacuum works.
But the whole idea
perhaps
was
staff could.
because it was, you take a cat away, another one will be there within no time. That was how it was presented to us.
I believe that's the case when there's like a colony. So perhaps staff could speak to that better than myself, but the instance they gave the example of there, I think they said were 6 or 7 cats, and they were all kind of moved together, if I understood that correctly. So there may be exceptions where a cat cannot be returned for whatever reason, but it didn't sound like that was a pattern in practice. And so if the concern is that the ordinance wasn't followed, to every line based on certain exceptions, maybe the language should just be updated, but allow for the continuance of the program and not only within mobile home parks.
Okay,
That would be my suggestion.
all right, thank you. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Well, we got somebody coming up.
I don't know if I need to sit or not, sorry. I guess I will. My name is Danielle Tedder, and I serve as the medical director at the Bartholomew County Humane Society. I'm also a registered veterinary technician with 12 years experience working at Hope Vet Clinic.
They're having a hard time hearing you.
Still can't hear me? Is this better?
That's better.
Speak up.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So from a medical perspective, I guess I'd like to pose just a couple questions. So my first question would be the number of diseases and infections associated with cat overpopulation, most concerning being rabies. So if animal control isn't picking up the cats that they deem feral, how are these feral cats getting rabies vaccinated? Does anybody have?
Have you had a problem with rabies in cats lately?
Well, no, not in cats that we know of, because you can only test for rabies by sending a cat head in.
Yeah.
So there was a case in Clarksville in 2024, which is only 2 years ago.
Okay, thank you.
I'm a little concerned there. But also to kind of caveat off of, I don't remember her name, but she was just before me. It is a small percentage that has not returned, and the vacuum is created by colony removal. So the ones that we released to our own colony have been since June 2025. We've done 14 clinics now, so that's only that's like one cat per clinic. It's not a huge
Excuse me,
amount.
the colony you're referring to, is that the Humane Society's
Yes,
colony?
yes, so
Okay.
our own
Yeah,
person,
clinic.
no, so the Humane Society's colony. And so it doesn't, I mean, if you're doing it that slow, it's just a cat here and there. It's not like we're not returning the majority. The majority is being returned because we have community members that come, drop them off, pick them up, and then take them back. So yes, it is possible without the assistance of animal control, but it's really one, it's asking a lot of people that don't understand how to trap, and then they're not gonna know how to do it safely for themselves or the cats. But also, what is the word I'm looking for? If the property owner does not want the cat back, where do we put it? So that's also what I'm trying to figure out, so.
We've had several property owners that have complained that was brought back to their property. And you said something interesting a minute ago. You said it's actually the vacuum is caused by colonies being removed. That was never explained to us when we initiated this 5 years ago. We were told when a feral cat is removed from a scene,
Mhm.
then another cat automatically is there. Because, I mean, that's what we based our whole process on
Right.
when we initiated this 5 years ago. And now you're telling us that's not the case.
So it essentially, cats are gonna move around, but if you have a cat colony, sorry, I can't talk loud enough for this thing apparently.
It's okay.
I hear it and then I hear it turn off. So because cats are nomads basically, but when you have a colony that has set up and they have created that is their place, if that whole colony moves, that's where the vacuum comes, because that environment has adjusted to having all of those cats, if that makes sense.
It does. It's different from what we'd been told in the past,
Yeah.
but I appreciate you bringing that up to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we have to allow someone else to
No,
talk.
that's okay. That's okay. Thank you for
Riley?
your time.
Who were you talking to 5 years ago who told you this stuff about?
Oh, Riley, I knew you were gonna ask that question. Who brought TNR to us? Do you remember?
I assume the Humane Society.
Oh, you know who it was? It was the previous Humane Society director.
Okay, thank you.
What was her name?
Jane
Kirsten.
Irwin?
Kirsten.
Jane Irwin?
It was after Jane.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am, right there.
My name is Rita Berry. My address is 10557 North Cedars Road. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Come up to the, can you please come up?
Please.
So everyone can hear.
I am a feline care team member at Bartholomew County Humane Society, so that is my main job there. Through my role, I observed how the trap, neuter, vaccine, and return programs operate, and they significantly impact how our community works with cats. I want to play off of what Elizabeth and Laura have talked about with increasing the number of cats that come to the community. And Danielle had brought up with our spay neuter clinics, how those work. Within the last one that we just did, we received that day 6 feral, as they're claimed to be, cats. Of those 6, they were all pregnant. 4 of the 6 were carrying 4 kittens and 1 was carrying 5. So mathematically, to make this quick, by the end of the year, cats can have up to 4 litters per year. So mathematically, by the end of the year, just in kittens, you would receive an additional 96 in 6 cats. That's not giving the exact number of all of them that are out there. So that is a lot of cats to bring in. And I personally think that the TNR program is very important to cap that and to take away the barrier of us being able to do that. As Daniel also said, brings in diseases, toxoplasmosis, rabies, as she said, cat scratch disease, those kinds of things. Also, I don't know, because I was trying to listen to everything. Feral is often misused as a term as well. Feral is not a type of cat. Feral is a behavior. And for us at the shelter, many of my colleagues also can attest, we are required by our director to take a fear-free training. And that is required within our first 90 days of being there. With that, fear-free training teaches us how to handle the feral behavior and us be able to describe whether we do think that those cats are adoptable or not. I would like to give an example. A community member brought us cats that are no longer wanted on that property. When they brought them to us, 3 of those cats, we worked 2 or 3 months, I would say, 2 or 3 months on rehabilitation, and they were able to go to the community to a loving home. So really, I just think that us being able to do the TNR program, and keeping the ability to keep the amount of kittens that are born down is very important in this community, not just not just now, but down the road, because it could become a much larger problem than what it was, not only for animals, but also human health as well.
Okay, thank you. Can you fill us in on the cats that were pregnant?
Mhm.
What do you do with the kittens when you put the cats back out?
It's considered a spay abort if they come in pregnant. If the cats, once they go under I don't want to say denying, but once they're in for their procedure and they are pregnant, our veterinarian is required to do a spay abort. So we will take out the uterus with whatever viable.
So you abort the kittens when a cat comes in pregnant?
Yes.
Once you cut up a cat, you can't chill it back together.
Yeah, it's industry standards. A lot of veterinarians do practice it. It is not just shelter medicine.
Okay, didn't know that. Okay, thank you. Anyone know? Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll try to keep this short and sweet. My name is Brooke. I am the feline team lead for Bartholomew County Humane Society. I live at 8003 Sunset Court. Good evening, commissioners. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I am here to express my concerns about the proposed changes to our county's animal ordinance, specifically the removal of responsibility for animal control when it comes to trapping feral cats. This does not solve the issue of stray and feral cat population. It allows it to grow unchecked. In just the past 2 days alone, our shelter has taken in 4 intact cats. Yes, this person did come to our shelter, but that was because animal control told him to come to us for the traps because animal control was not going to go to the property. These cats were not aggressive. With time, patience, and proper care, they have the potential to become adoptable. And even if they remain unsocialized, they can still live safely and productively as barn cats. But the bigger picture is reproduction. 2 unaltered females can lead to well over 200 kittens in a single year when you account for multiple litters and continued breeding cycles. What starts as a small, manageable situation can quickly become overwhelming for both the community and local resources. When there is no clear responsibility for intervention, situations like this are left to escalate. Property owners may not have the means or knowledge to address the issue, and without structure involvement, these populations continue to grow. We see firsthand that many of these cats are not beyond help. Some are lost, some are under-socialized but capable of progress. Others can live successfully in working environments like barns. There are options, but they do require action. Addressing this issue early through trapping, spay and neuter efforts, and collaboration is what prevents long-term problems. Removing that step does the complete opposite. I urge you to reconsider this change because if we remove this responsibility at the front end, we are choosing to accept a much, much larger problem down the road, one that will not resolve itself and one our community will inevitably have to face. Thank you for your time.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes, sir.
Should that be up to the taxpayer to pay for that?
Truthfully, I mean, it's animal control. If the community member is calling about an unwanted cat, if the
But we don't,
person.
but, you know, a person can, turn over a cat to the Humane Society
They
without
can.
calling animal control.
They could, but what if they don't have one, it's an aggressive cat, it's not altered. There's no signs, like the ear tipping, that's a sign that the cat is altered. If there's no ear tipping and they're not able to catch the cat with themselves,
Okay, so
what
fair,
help
so
do they
fair
have
enough.
for that, you know?
Should the taxpayer have to pay for that?
I mean, truthfully, I don't care. This is just, I will be completely honest with you, Commissioner. This is the language that is used in the ordinance is gonna cause so much damage. You may not see it now,
You
but it
under-
will eventually
But you
happen.
understand that we have to care.
But I'm saying that if you're gonna say animal control is responsible for all of this, what is the community supposed to do when that's taken out? Who are they supposed to call? Because if we, as the Humane Society, we're not supposed to go out there and trap these animals. That's animal control's job because that's what they're contracted to do for us. If the person calls us and says,
I
hey,
disagree that their job is what you just described it as, but
our job?
no, the animal control's job.
Okay,
Is what you
but
just
what I'm
described.
saying is, you're not in our shelter. You don't hear the calls that we get.
Mhm.
A community member will call us, hey, we have this aggressive cat. We have this colony. We have so-and-so. Can you guys come and get it? And we have to tell them, no, here is the phone number for animal control. They call them. Animal control can now say that we don't have to get the cats. And then we get the back end of all of that. We get the anger. We get the frustration.
You don't think we get that?
But I'm saying that it's gonna come out more apparent. And that's all I wanted to say. And I really hope that you do reconsider at what everybody is saying.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mackenzie Wright. I live at 1824 8th Street. I am part of the K-9 team at the Humane Society. And even though it is mainly focused on cats, it's not a question, it's more of a comment, is we've been working with animal control in a partnership for 60 years. We are that lifeline. We are trained to know the signs and the behavioral issues when it comes to dogs and cats. By changing the lettering and the wording and how we're doing it, you're cutting off that lifeline for those cats to never come to us, for us to never work with them. Dogs and cats align. We are that lifeline between them staying out there and no help, between coming to us and actually being understood and having a safe place. By changing it, you're cutting off that line. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Who else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Julie Robbins. I live at 887 Junco in Columbus.
Hi, Julie.
I do TNR in the county and the city. I'm not a 501c3. I get help from Pet Friendly Services in Indianapolis, who's the handout that I gave you is where that came from. They offer help to the community. People can request vouchers from them to fix dogs and cats. And I've probably been doing this 10 years for care and for the city shelter, the Humane Society. And my question is, how hard is it, or is it possible to change ordinances or to make ordinances for people to have to deal with these animals, like in trailer parks, especially?
Which I don't understand your question. Have to make them deal with it.
Like people that dump cats out of a trailer or something.
Against the law.
But I mean, but who enforces that?
Well, if we know who does it, we do. And then we turn it over to the prosecutor.
Because, you know, I've had problems in trailer parks. I mean, a friend of mine and I went into Heritage Heights one winter and probably trapped 100 cats.
Yeah.
And they don't, you know, and I actually picked up some kittens there one time, and my case got written up to the prosecutor's office because they said I trespassed and took private property. So it's,
This whole thing is a very touchy situation.
Oh, it's not easy. So, yeah, I just wondered if people need to take responsibility for it too.
If they would, we wouldn't be here.
But it is not legal. So in a trailer park,
But TNR is still eligible in a trailer park, mobile home park.
but it's the managers that don't. Maybe. I mean, they're supposed to have 2 animals per lot.
It's a tough situation, Julie. It really, really is. Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's all I wondered.
thank you. Yes, ma'am?
Hello, good morning, maybe? I don't know what time.
Still morning, still morning.
Clock's over there, still morning. My name is Michaela Wishmeyer. I live at 3000 West, 200 South, Columbus, Indiana. Lifelong Columbus resident. I am also a board member of the Humane Society, formerly before that, a volunteer and specifically cat foster focused. And, just a personal anecdote from my experience, I've been fostering since approximately 2017, 2018. Close to at least 40 cats that I have personally fostered. And out of all of those, 2 that I attempted to work with were only able to be unsocialized, but were still fixed and altered and vaccinated and returned to the outdoor colony at the Humane Society. So just a very small fraction of my experience in fostering cats. My concern, is not, a lot of the commentary has been on the increase of population if these cats are being left in the community. We're only TNRing in mobile home areas, but nowhere else. So how will the proposed change ensure there's no increase specifically in diseases in general that were mentioned earlier, but in rabies within our community amongst the cats, and then the potential for that to reach humans from cat interaction to a potentially dog outside to human, however that may occur?
We haven't seen a rabies case in years and years and years. This has only been happening for 5 years. We hadn't seen a rabies case prior to that in quite a bit of time.
Okay.
The lady that was here earlier said that there's one case that's known of in Clarksville, which is an hour away. I don't know that you're going to be able to guarantee anything. But what we're trying to find is a good happy medium between the taxpayer and this expense and the outcome of this situation.
Yeah, which I understand and hear you. I think my not only when we're doing TNR, it's TNBR now, so trap, neuter, vaccinate, return. And if we are leaving so many of these cats out in our community, animal control is not picking them up. We're expecting people and citizens of the community to take care of it. Humane Society doesn't have the capacity or ability to do so. So many will be left out, and the increase of diseases amongst them, even outside of rabies. The inbreeding that can begin within litters and the disease transfers amongst animals alone. So I would like that to be taken into consideration. And then another question, comment I have, what training are the animal control officers going to receive in distinguishing from feral versus domestic? Just in my experience, I have 2 lovely fur babies at home. Whenever I try to corral them and get them in a carrier for the vet, they are very different when I am trying to get them in a cage versus the other 90% of the time. So what training are they gonna get to be able to distinguish that in such a short amount of time?
Fair question. They have NACO training. They continue with continuous training and improvement. And by our definition, a cat that is unsocialized and has no identifiable owner would be the definition we would use for feral.
Okay, what kind of
And I too
time?
have, by the way, have 2 cats that we rescued through care.
That's awesome. How quickly will that designation from feral versus domesticated be made? when an animal control officer arrives on the scene
At the spot.
at the spot. So they're gonna make it in a split second just from the quick
For-
interaction of trying to
for
catch
our-
a cat and corner it.
For our purposes, yes.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone? Yes, sir.
While he's coming up, I will interject a quick story with what she said. My wife at one time had a dog, and when they go on vacation, they'd have to kennel the dog. The dog was so happy to get to go to the kennel.
No.
But when they took the dog to get his toenails trimmed, he seemed to know when he was going to have to go to that facility. And so animals are, they're just like people. They're kind of funny.
Yeah.
Intuitive.
Yes.
Hi, my name's Roger Cagwin. I live at 1647 South Wolf Creek Road in Columbus. I'm a board member, volunteer for a long time. Been listening. And, you know, we've talked a lot about the number of felines that can happen with a single female cat. So you've heard that. What I'm hearing today, listening today, it still appears there's a gap in how to manage that increasing cat population. You questioned, Tony, if it's really gonna happen, but if it does, I don't see that we have a solution in place today. So I'm sure that what this change you just did is, I mean, it's not gonna help, but I mean, I think there's more thinking, even if you hadn't made it, on how we need to control that population. If what the scientists are saying and the others are saying, the situation will get worse. So that's just a comment on what other folks have said. I do have a question, though. We've had, 8 domestic cats that have been surrendered or abandoned, rather, by people who were incarcerated.
Mhm.
What happens in your situation where the animal control isn't going to pick up cats that are abandoned? What do you do with
Well,
those?
just because they're incarcerated didn't make it abandoned, right? I
Well,
mean,
but they have abandoned, in these
Well, they-
cases, I believe.
We've
they
had a
did
couple
abandon.
cases of that. We've
Okay,
had a couple cases in the last 10 days.
okay.
The animal control officer works with the sheriff's department. They try to find someone that can take the animals, not just cats, but dogs.
Mhm.
And we've had a couple of these, Tina, correct?
Yes.
They'll try to find a family member that can take them. If not, someone else that can take them. And in the 2 cases that they've not been able to find that, I believe we've taken them to the Humane Society.
So is that the intent? That would be good.
That's what we have done in the last few weeks.
Okay. Please keep doing that going forward. That's my questions.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Roger. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners.
Morning.
Just listening to the conversation, I'm not a volunteer nor an employee of the Humane Society. It appears to me that the primary issue, at least to my mind, is the language within the current ordinance that speaks to the animal must be returned to its original location. If that's the sticking point and why that clause is being removed, I would suggest that you might just eliminate that portion and leave the TV and R clause in there for the time being. It's been in place for 5 years. And I'm also hearing that no one has enough information for any decision-making as to the success or failure of current practice. And that suggests that perhaps we need to take a better attempt at creating good data for Bartholomew County. Now, Mr. London, you mentioned concerns about cost. I share those. As a taxpayer in Bartholomew County, I watched that property tax assessment very carefully, and I've called the office on occasion to ask. Yet I understand that taxes are necessary, because I'm a strong supporter of the county library, as I've served on those boards. But do you gentlemen have access to any of the studies that show that TVNR is a cost-effective process on public resources? If you've not seen any of those studies, I suggest that some folks can get those studies so you can become better informed. It's not a quick fix, as I understand it, that it's going to take some upfront investment, but it's been proven in these studies that long-term, having a neutered population does two things. It controls the feral population and all these kitties being born, and it also controls what they do, which is rodent population. Because I think that's why we have cats out in the wild.
Now that you bring that up, you know, not everybody is wild about TVNR. PETA is not in favor of TNR because of all the wildlife those cats kill.
Yes.
Including chipmunks and birds and other
yes.
types of animals.
Right.
These cats are predators.
Oh,
and,
yes.
And that's how they stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not cut and dried that everybody loves TNR.
I didn't say that.
No, but I
Right.
just wanted to make it clear that there are scientists and there are people in the animal world who do not support TNR.
Yes, I recognize that. Everything is a balance, right? And a compromise.
Mhm.
And that's what we're trying to achieve here, is a compromise.
I would agree with that.
Your comments early, I think we're gonna do that, make those
Changes?
additions back in, and I think we've talked about that a few times with different people at the table. But
Yes.
I don't think our intent was to cut out the ability to trap, neuter, release.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I or we may not believe in it,
Right.
I think we've listened
Mm-hmm.
and we've done it for 5 years, and I don't think our intent is to cut that out. So
Okay.
I think you'll see that verbiage back in that allows the Humane Society or others to continue with that programming.
I would like there to be a more collaborative relationship with animal control and humane society and the county commissioners. And what data do you need? I'm sort of a facts-driven type of person. So,
Well, data is only as good as the people that enter it.
yes,
This paper looks good
right.
and it's shocking.
Mhm.
And that's the intent of it, is to be
Right.
shocking. But in the wild and in reality, that number that's assuming every cat, every pregnancy, every fetus becomes a live, living adult that then produces at these rates.
Yes.
So data, while we need to look at data, we also need to understand a lot of times data is very skewed,
Right.
depending on your argument.
Oh, yes, you can
It's the
twist
old
facts
saying,
differently.
Carl, we talk about it once in a while.
Liars can figure and figures can lie.
Yeah,
Yes, but
figures don't lie, but liars figure.
But there are some validated studies that are, seem to be accepted. And if you need that information, perhaps I can get you some of that, or I'm sure other folks can, because the internet is out there and things are published. So my recommendation would be to let that clause remain with the suggested changes. And let's get to a more facts-based, so that we can prove to you perhaps, or maybe we'll have egg on our face. Because I don't have any skin in the game. I don't have a cat right now, but,
You want one? I got one. Thank you for your time.
you're welcome.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you for
Who's
listening.
next? Yes, ma'am. Green sweater.
My name is Emma Jordan. I live at 145.
Say that again. We couldn't hear
Sorry.
you till you get up to the table.
I think microphone's closer over here. My name is Emma Jordan. I live at 145 East North Street in Hartsville. I participate in TNR. I have worked at a vet clinic. I foster cats. I'm a cat person. Personally, I have a couple questions. My first one being, if animal control did pick up a cat that they thought was domesticated, took it to the Humane Society, and it did turn out to be feral, at what point, since they brought it in, what would the shelter do with that cat at that point if it was feral?
You'd have to ask the shelter that, because, you know, it's not a perfect science, and it's not, animal control is not a perfect, world. But again, we don't tell the Humane Society what to do with the animals once they have them.
Okay. And then if we are changing the language and feral cats are now deemed as wildlife, when we see an increase in population, because they will be breeding regardless of what the numbers might be or how many litters they might have, if it becomes a nuisance to a community member, is there going to be an open season for these animals like there is for deer, turkey, other wildlife that they will now be categorized with?
Do you know that state law now allows any property owner to kill an animal on their property?
Yes.
Okay, so that's not even a local ordinance. It wouldn't, your term open season is aggressive.
Or would there be a specific
There would
season?
be no open season from this side of the table. But homeowners have the ability to do what they see fit.
And then if they did shoot what they deemed to be a feral cat and it didn't turn out to be somebody's pet, since that's
They'll have,
illegal,
then that would go through the courts.
I feel like you keep saying over and over through this meeting that you don't dictate what the shelter does, but by changing this language, you do dictate the care that they are able to provide.
Is there other language that you're referring to?
Could you clarify?
Well, other than
please?
just the one that we've talked about 3 or 4 times, is there other language that is upsetting or problematic? Other than the language that specifically would affect trap neuter release?
No, I'm specifically referring to
Okay.
the feral cat.
I think I'm totally up to making that be back in the ordinance so that it's allowable. So if there's other verbiage, then somebody speak up about it. I mean, I agree with that. I'm okay with that one. I don't like the program. But I have a question of my own. I was gonna not ask it, but I've got to ask it. Because some of you people here, I really respect you. I've known you most of my life. Many of you I have. How do you come to terms with, and you love animals. I see what Vicky does all the time because of her love for animals. How do you come to terms with the damage that cats do? See, I struggle with that myself. When I build about one house a year. Last fall, when my house got to the stage where drywall was finished, we're putting exterior doors on, there was a rabbit that I saw. As I would leave late at night or late in the afternoon, 6, 7 o'clock, I would always see this mother rabbit. And we had 2 or 3 feral cats. It was a 15-acre parcel of land. There were at least 2 or 3 feral cats. And then the next day, my wife calls me early in the morning and says, Larry, there's 3 rats in the house all over the kitchen. And I said, what? So I went down there and found out that they were 3 bunny rabbits. And I'm assuming the feral cat or the cats killed the rabbits and brought them in my house. Why, I don't know. And they weren't eaten. They were just killed. But on my acreage that I live on there's about a 400-acre piece. I don't own it all, but Vicky shares it. There are dozens of feral cats that you can see in the evenings. And I've lived there for almost 40 years. I have not seen a covey of quail in 20 years. And there used to be 2 or 3 covey that would run that property. I haven't seen a chipmunk on any of that land in many, many years. And rabbits are scarce. How do you come to terms as a cat lover and a supporter of cats? How do we come to terms with the damage and the killing that a cat does every day? But yet we love the fur babies that was mentioned earlier. But yet that morning it killed 3 bunny rabbits that were babies. And now I don't see any bunny rabbits anymore. And they're an invasive species. They're classified. Cats are as a rule, they're considered an invasive species. They were never in the United States until white people came. How do we come to terms with that? Can any of you answer that? Vicky, how do you come to terms with that?
Well, that is very hard for me because I love all
I
animals.
know it has to be, because I know you.
There's also coyotes. There's also
No,
birds of prey.
we're not talking about coyotes
Well,
today.
but they kill those animals as well.
Also,
It can't
right.
all be put on the cats. Yes, your cats probably brought those 3 baby.
And
bunny
mine's a good
rabbits in,
killer.
But
He's
other
great.
species of animals are also wiping out,
Okay,
killing
all right. So that's how you
wildlife,
just,
whale.
okay.
You know,
All right.
I'm,
How do you deal with it? You foster a lot of cats.
Personally, when you make that statement, can you confirm that you do not see the bunnies or quails specifically because of cats?
Oh, I try to be an honest person. I'm not blaming cats. I've seen my cat. I have a cat that I call Max the Murderer. And he's a great cat. My wife and daughter love that cat. And I care about Max, but he is a killer. He goes out of the house. There's not 2 or 3 days go by that I don't see something on my front porch that he kills.
And I mean,
And I've got other examples, many examples.
I guess
can
I
give you.
justify that because my parents adopted a mutt from a shelter, and it also brings them bunny rabbits and chipmunks
yeah,
that it
yeah,
does
yeah.
not
No,
eat.
no, okay, so the way you do it, so what I've heard 2 comments, is you rationalize it into the category that every animal kills other animals.
Based on the
So that
evidence
makes
that I
it
have
okay.
physically seen myself,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Did you
Because
have
see,
anything else to share?
I've always struggled
Did
with
you
the
have anything
trap
else to
neuter
share?
release.
No.
I've supported it, but,
Gotta move on to someone.
Yes.
okay.
Ellen.
My name is. Good morning.
Good morning, Ellen. How are you?
All right.
Good.
My name is Ellen Macy. I live at 4125 West Tannehill Road. Couple of things. How effective,
That's Doc Macy's daughter, if you didn't know that.
you don't have to tell everybody, but thank you. I want to switch directions a little bit from the warm and fuzzy business.
Okay.
How effective, from 2 different standpoints, are your fines? Both as deterrents.
Are your what? I didn't.
Fines.
Fines.
Okay.
Fines, the fines that we're talking about raising.
They haven't been very effective.
Have they been collected?
Some.
Very few.
Very few. How effective are they? Well, if that kind of answers the second part of my question, because if we're not collecting the fines, why bother raising them? Because then we're really not going to collect them.
Well, it's not that we're not trying to.
Well, okay, I get
We have
that.
to take them to court,
I get that.
and that's
Which
a
is
long,
gonna-
drawn out process.
Which is
had
going to cost
costs.
more than the fine.
Right, right.
But it's kind of like, I don't know how to compare it, but if we're gonna have the fines, I think we ought to have a dedicated individual or somebody who's gonna go and try and collect.
Ellen, that's more tax money.
Okay,
I mean, we gotta.
then are
We're
they
running, we're
effective?
running out of money. We're running out of money.
Okay. You stated something
Again.
earlier. What?
I guess we want to raise them to hopefully it'll be a deterrent.
A deterrent.
Maybe make people think twice about
I doubt it.
abusing a dog.
I doubt it. I doubt that would be
I
effective.
know, there is a certain percentage out there that no matter what.
Right.
You're not gonna change your behavior.
Right, but the other thing that I
We're
wanted.
trying.
I know you are. I have no doubt about it.
We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, trying to place these fines against people's property as a lien on their property. We do that for
Do
mowing
that for
weeds.
property taxes that don't get paid. It seems.
But we
And they do it for weeds.
found many reasons why that wasn't a
And
good
why?
idea.
They don't mow their grass.
Okay,
We can send them a weed letter and that goes on their property. We're looking down that road.
I think.
The
that's-
problem is so many of these people rent. And the property
Well,
owner,
then it needs to go to
the
the
property
landlord.
owner would be the one that gets the fine. And they may not even know that the people have animals,
Well,
you know?
seems like we need.
A
to
lot
get
of people
tough.
try awful
We need
hard
to
to-
get tough. And I know, do not argue that there is no simple answer to this.
Thank you
This
for
is a
that.
conundrum.
There is no
This is
simple
a-
answer.
This is a problem. It's a huge problem. And there's those that like the cats and the dogs and those that just don't give a damn, you know? But I do think that if we had some way, yes, you asked a question of one of the women that was up here that said, do you think the taxpayers should be responsible for this situation? Please don't anybody shoot me in the back, but I do. I do, yes. We have to be responsible for all the other issues in this county. We enjoy the perks and the beautiful things about this county and this state and this country. We have to pay federal income tax. We have to pay state income tax. We have to pay property tax. Yes, I think that if we are, if we expect to enjoy the perks and the wonderful things about this county that we enjoy so much, yeah, we gotta pay for it. And I would accept a tax increase.
And what is your name and address for the record?
Who are you sending after me?
The Republic.
Oh, don't you? Yeah, I know,
Ellen?
they'll come and get me.
I think that perspective is in the minority. The sentiment
Well, I mean,
is,
you know,
the
I don't
sentiment
have-
is good, but I think the idea that it's on the taxpayer's dime or should be on the taxpayer's
I
dime.
think it should be.
I know that.
And
I
I don't
think
have
that's in the
children,
minority.
but my taxes also go to pay for the school system
Jail.
and the jail. And I've never had to spend a day in jail other than the 2 or 3 weeks I worked there.
Good.
Yeah, so.
Be careful. TA is sitting right over there.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ellen. Yes, ma'am.
I have to agree with Ellen that my name's Angela Savage. I live at 3324 Richland. I have to agree with Ellen that I think the taxpayers should ultimately be responsible for it. And one of the reasons I say that, 2 of the cats that were trapped, neutered, and released were from my neighborhood. I don't live in a trailer court. And there was a girl and a boy, and the girl had had 10 cats already this year. And they spayed her, so, you know, she could have had more. And 6 of her babies were females. So if her 6 babies had 10 babies, that'd be 60 more cats in my neighborhood. And there's cats that get into my backyard all the time. They like to hunt back there. We have a pond that they like to fish the fish out of. We have bird houses. There's frogs. You know, they like the birds, they like the frogs, they like the fish. And my dogs go out there and get the cats that are in my yard that are not my cats. And then I go out there and have to take my dogs off the cat. I got bit by the cat. I had to go to the doctor, had to get antibiotics because I got infected and my dogs got infected. They had to go to the vet. So ultimately, if there's too many cats, the taxpayers are gonna have to pay something to care for the damage that they're doing. So I think if they had to pay a little bit for the trap neuter release, it would probably be less than what they would have to pay for doctor bills for you know, other damages that the cats are causing. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay. Thank you very much. You've had your hand up several times.
Good afternoon. My name is Lucia Yanez Rios. I am a pediatric dental assistant. I am an animal lover. This is my first time coming here and I did want to state my voice to you guys. I do live in Candlelight Village. So as you guys all know, trailer parks are a huge issue when it comes to stray cats / ferals. There have been plenty that have been rescued. This one most recently of September, I called because there was an abscess with his mouth. Animal shelter tried to help as much as they could. Nothing was able to be done. They got him neutered and then he had to finally be rescued out because the cost was too much for them to handle. Too many rounds of antibiotics. There were thousands of dollars involved with his care. He is now close to being adopted. In Candlelight, we get some help, but we don't get as much help as we need. I have brought in a couple cats that have been adopted out, so has my mom. Regardless, not all the animals are getting neutered there, which I understand it's going to be a hard thing to do. We are trying our best, but if the neutering is not being done, the problem's gonna keep growing. Every year, there's more and more. I try my best to help and feed them as best as I can. I try to call when I can. I've been on a wait list for about 1.5 years for animals to get neutered, so it kind of just falls on to us at this point. I do think it's important for the verbiage to be revised, working hand in hand, not only with the animal control, but with the Humane Society. I do think it's important for all of you guys to work together to try to make that verbiage more clear. As you have stated, many people have talked about that here already. Diseases, if we're not getting these animals neutered and vaccinated, same thing's gonna happen to that cat that I said had that dental abscess. He has FELB, feline leukemia. My mom's cat that passed away March of last year, passed away, had FIV. Many of these cats are having diseases, they're spreading it around. It's not only affecting the residents, it's affecting absolutely everything. Property, people are getting mad.
Ma'am, can I
Mhm.
interrupt you just to tell you
Yes.
that our ordinance only deals with the county portion, and you live in the city, and that falls under city animal care. And they
Yes.
still have their TNR in place.
Yes, and I'm aware. I'm just bringing you my experience as
all right.
far as all that goes. I know that they're totally different things, so I get that. I know you mentioned that you guys learned some things from 5 years ago. Things evolve constantly, so you know, it is different from the 5 years ago. And then you did mention something about PETA. PETA has actors go into stores and act like dead pieces of meat, so I don't think we should be really taking too much from PETA into account.
No, fair enough. My point was just that not everybody in the animal loving world subscribes to TNR.
Yes.
That was my only point by that.
Mhm.
No, I'm not backing or choosing people.
Okay. But yeah, I think that's basic. Oh, yes, one more thing. I do know that if these neuterings, so like I said, I'm in Candlelight. There is some issues with some cats at some apartments next to Columbus Pediatric Dentistry. I've had to call animal control out there twice. So it's not just a trailer park thing. It's getting into the neighborhoods. It's getting into the neighborhoods by North. It's definitely an issue. And I just wanted to share my experience that the problem's just going to continue to get worse if the TNRs do not continue.
Thank you
Same with
very
the
much.
vaccine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nancy.
Thank you.
Yes. Nancy, you're next.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Camden Zinkin. I live at 2550 Boulder Drive here in Columbus. I also serve on the staff as a customer care manager for Bartholomew County Humane Society. I did want to bring up a couple points that you guys had mentioned earlier, commissioners. Animal control is going to be required to deem on the spot if a cat is feral or not. I have a concern about that because it does take a little bit longer for a cat to be deemed feral on the spot. Doesn't really give you enough time to evaluate that. As many of the fellow staff members have mentioned, we take up to, well, honestly, probably more than 1 to 2 weeks to very much determine if that cat is feral. Some of them, unfortunately, do continue to be feral. But if they even have the smallest bit of hope, our staff is compassionate and tries their hardest to reassess their behavior multiple times. As Rita had mentioned, and I believe Brooke, we do undergo fear-free training, which is required for our facility. That allows us the ability to assess. Not only that, our medical director, Danielle Tedder, who spoke with you earlier, also has numerous amounts of years of training to be able to evaluate that. Animal control, while they are experienced in handling animals, may not entirely have that experience and the ability because they also have a duty to the county in order to make these calls a little bit quicker so they can address pertinent issues in our community. I also wanted to bring up, you mentioned earlier that we have not had a rabies case in a good long time, and I'm very, very thankful for that. But I truly believe it's because we have our TNR program that a lot of our cats have been vaccinated and fixed and don't run the risk as much of getting rabies and us having to get them evaluated. And that is a very, I find, gruesome process to have a cat evaluated for rabies. It's not fair to them to leave
It's
their.
worse to have a person evaluated, or as bad.
Yes, and that TNR program that we have, that we've been
Remember the old-
utilizing for the 5 years,
As
has
a
been
kid,
assisting in that.
You're too young to remember this, but those of you that are my age, you remember as a child, all our parents ever talked about it was, don't touch this, don't touch that. You could get rabies and you have to get 14 shots in your stomach. I mean, I can remember that? And once I picked up a squirrel out in the woods and got bit by the squirrel. And for 2 weeks, I thought sure I had rabies, but I was afraid to tell my dad because he'd whoop up on me. But anyway,
I fully
you're too
understand
young
that.
to really fear rabies.
I, personally, I do not find that my age matters. I fear rabies. Of course, I work in an animal welfare
I'm just
industry,
being
so I don't think my age is quite, relevant to that. I honestly look a little bit younger than you probably think I am. I'm not gonna lie. But I have been with the Humane Society for a year, and we have had cases where unfortunately the cats are feral. But I truly believe that our TNR program, as it's been running for the year that I've been there, has been highly beneficial for our community, not just through the Humane Society, but through Julie Robbins, and I believe Vicky Stover as well. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Nancy?
My name's Nancy Ray and I live at 2250 Caldwell Place. I just have a quick kind of statement. I'm hung up on the word that was used in the Republic article that the feral cats will be considered wildlife. I haven't heard anybody mention this and I can't hear, so did you know that feral cats are the same species as a domestic cat?
They are the same species.
They are the same species, Feliscatus.
Catus?
Felis catus.
Yeah, I think we know that.
Pardon?
I think we realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and feral is just a word to describe the temperament of the cat. So I don't want to use the word discriminatory, but I'm not sure why these cats are being singled out versus a stray domestic cat, because they are domestic cats. They just have a different temperament. I guess I'm concerned about if you pass this and change the ordinance, that the wording in the ordinance is based on fact and correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Nancy. Anything else?
No.
No. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you for your time
Thank you.
today.
Thank you, Nancy.
Yes.
Where is the microphone?
It's up there.
Is it? So I have to speak to the ceiling?
Yeah.
Good morning still. My name is Matt.
Tone it down a little
Dudovich.
bit, man. You're talking too loud.
My residence is 3206 Hawthorne Drive. I am a member of the community and the county and the city. I'm also the Vice President of the Humane Society Board of Directors. Thank you for the time to be heard this morning. I appreciate you trying to balance the community's need for taxes that are fair and equitable with the services that we provide. Because I too want to live in a community and a county where animals are not running wild, crazy, biting people that they have to go get stitches for and antibiotics for. That's not the community I want to live in. I do not want to live in the community as well, where all of the rabbits and squirrels and lizards and other birds are being attacked because we have overwhelming amounts of feral cats taking over our wildlife. That's not appropriate, and I don't want to live in that community either. What I would request is that you reconsider if this ordinance has to be passed today. If the issue is that we have a tax issue that we need to get control of, I am pledging that we, the Humane Society, will work with you on coming up with a fair and reasonable approach by which to control the cat population that under this language is going to shoot up exponentially in our community, which is not gonna be good for anyone, because we're just kicking up a problem down the road that we're gonna have to deal with 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now. That's gonna be even more expensive. When we finally say, the community gets riled up and says, why are there so many cats roaming freely in the county? Would you be willing to pause on moving forward with this
Yeah, I
ordinance.
think we're
So that
already
we
to the point of
can,
doing that.
as a long-term partnership, work on addressing this issue as the Humane Society, Animal Control in the county.
I am, yeah.
I think we're amenable to that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we won't vote on it today, Tony.
Well, let's hear some more. I mean, Matt, did you have anything else?
I appreciate your time and
Okay.
I look forward to partnering with you, to continue to partner with you.
Matt,
I wish to do the best we can for our community.
before you leave the table, does the Humane Society, and I know some of these answers, but I want to ask it, do they euthanize any animals?
Yes, we do.
Does-
It's
but very-
unfortunate.
But very, very few.
It is unfortunate that if an animal comes in that is medically
Right.
unable to be saved,
You'll make a
the
decision.
appropriate thing to do is euthanize them. If we have an animal, a dog or a cat, that is unable to be adopted out and we cannot, and if it's a dog and it can't be adopted, unfortunately, if the behavior is so bad, we're forced to euthanize.
Right. The city of Columbus, do they, and I know you don't speak for them, do they euthanize? What's their policy?
same sort of
After so many days or,
I think you're asking, do they euthanize for space?
say that again, Nancy?
Do they euthanize for space? And that's a
Oh.
whole different question. than
Okay.
For behaviors or medical. Is that what you're asking?
Well, I was just curious, I just wanted to ask that. I know some central Indiana counties that run their own shelters have gone to, they'll keep an animal for X amount of time, and then if they can't adopt it out or no one takes it back home, they'll euthanize the animal.
I think that practice is falling out of favor
Yeah.
slowly, but it's spreading. Bartholomew is a pretty proactive county.
Well, we're proactive so long as we got the checkbook to back it up.
Well, that's the other issue.
We're
As I said,
compassionate so long as we
you guys
got the
are working
checkbook to
hard on
match,
this.
to back
These
it up.
people are working hard on this situation. There's no easy fix. So,
And it's-
yes, to answer your question, the city shelter does euthanize for, vicious animals, dogs that have attacked people. I think, and medical, but they try very, very hard to find a different solution.
Okay,
And
good
so does
answers.
the
I just wanted to
Humane
ask that. Thank you.
Matt, or anything else, Matt? Okay, thank you so much. Hold on just a second, please. We're gonna let people that haven't spoken first. Now I'm gonna need you to come on up.
I was just kind of piggybacking off the euthanasia thing. So.
Name and address, please.
Felicia Garcia, 2591 Boulder Drive. So like we're recognized as a no-kill shelter, and I believe the city shelter is too. I don't know for sure. I think we've had it for the past at least 3 years that I know of. Because again, we do euthanize, but it's not for length of stay or things like that, where it's more common. Like in Indianapolis, I think they euthanize like bi-weekly for space, but we only do it for behavioral or medical. And then since I'm up here, about the animal control, how they decided, it would be nice that, you know, if we don't take a pause on this, for them to have more training, because more than 50% of the time when they bring us a dog or cat, I've been there for almost 2 years, so I love our control officers. I think they're great. But they do usually say like, oh, this one's angry or this one's aggressive. And then within a day or two, they're not angry or aggressive. When those dogs or cats are out there, they are like an active fight or flight. And as many people said earlier, if I try to get my cats in a carrier, they are terrible. I would consider them feral sometimes. So, yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else that hasn't spoken? Yes.
I am not, there are a couple of things I would like to say. I don't know if the commissioners are willing to entertain that. I am not currently a resident of Bartholomew County. I live in Brown County. My name is Heather Schuogel. My address is 1711 Todd's Trace in Nashville, Indiana. However, I own a business here in Bartholomew County. I'm also on the board of the Humane Society, and just wanted to say a couple things about the trap, neuter, release and spaying and population control of feral animals. There's been a lot of discussion here about whether it's fair to the taxpayers to have to pay for these efforts, but the reality is that taxpayers are going to be paying for the efforts, whether it's official through the county, whether the government takes a role in that, because not doing anything about a feral cat population is not saving the county money. It is not saving taxpayers money in the long run. You are looking at non-sterilized populations as increasing. So to the ecological sort of consequences that you talked about as far as seeing, you know, fewer rabbits, fewer other animals, cats are absolutely predators. They are causing those problems. And so increasing that feral cat population is making that worse, not better. Whether you agree with trap, neuter, release or not, that sterilization is going to be more effective than not doing anything whatsoever to control that population. There are studies that have shown that trap, neuter, release is more effective in decreasing those feral cat populations than simply repeatedly trapping animals and euthanizing them even. That's not a cost-effective solution for taxpayers either. Another thing that I think it's important to consider is that certainly rabies is serious, as has been discussed. It's not a common problem for sure, but there are other feline-borne illnesses. They're zoonotic. They can be transferred to humans, and that includes toxoplasmosis has been mentioned, cat scratch fever. There is flea-borne typhus that can also be transmitted by feral cats. That is a problem for this community if nothing is done with that. Certainly an increase in the population of feral cats is going to make those problems worse, not better. And so I hope that this commission will consider all of those things and not just look at, is this saving taxpayers money immediately, but also what does this look like in the long term if we don't do anything about these issues now? So thank you.
That's fair. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Vicky?
Got to come up there.
Yeah.
Of course, you guys all know I love cats. I love dogs. I love all animals more than people for good reason. And I guess one of the problems I have is you prioritizing what's important to the constituents, not to you guys. And this probably is not the right dollar amount because it happened a couple years ago, but the pickleball court. Was that the city or the county that paid for the pickleball court and the ridiculous?
County.
I'm sorry?
That was us.
Okay. If I recall, there were benches put in down there that cost tens of thousands of dollars. Am I right on that? Because if I have to go look the article up, I will.
Yeah, I don't think the benches cost tens of thousands.
Okay, well, it was like $600,000 for,
Whole package.
okay, no, that didn't include the pickleball court. That just include the surrounding part where people would sit and walk.
Vicky,
No, I think you misunderstood.
Vicky, we signed a contract that included all that stuff.
Okay, well, anyway, no one asked me, I don't play pickleball, I wish I could, but nobody asked me if that was a priority for me. I think and are people being charged, I mean, this is kind of off topic, but I just feel like you're not getting your priorities in order. You're not doing what the community wants, but you're doing things that you want for showy reasons.
Really?
Well, I do. There are a lot of things that we do, and this is the city, of course, the big stadium that's not being used very much, and the taxpayers are paying for that. There's a lot of things that the taxpayers are paying for that we're not on board. You didn't ask us if we wanted to do that.
We have nothing to do with the big stadium.
I know you did. That was just an example. I understand that. But the pickleball court you did, and a lot of the other things that you do in the county, I think most of the people would not be on board with that given the cost. And I think a lot more people would probably appreciate you picking up the stray kitties in the communities that didn't ask to be born, that are starving, that are sick, that are cold, that are hot, that are living horrible lives. But you guys don't prioritize. You don't ask us what our priorities are, rather. You pick and choose what's important, what's showy. And well, I think you could ask most of the people here, or a lot of people left that feel the same way I do. Showy. Columbus is a showy town.
Oh.
It is. So maybe you should listen to what the actual taxpayers want for a change.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else?
I have a quick question.
Sure, Nancy.
I think you mentioned earlier that the state does not require counties to have an animal control department. Is that true?
That's correct.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, only about half the counties in Indiana have one.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Just in regards to the animals that can't be returned, is ideally like I don't like the idea of them being returned either. I would prefer for them to be adopted out, although that can't always be the case. But for the animals such as the ones with a high medical cost or like the aggressive ones, obviously you can't try to send them off to another rescue, but there are rescues that work hand in hand through like Facebook groups, for example. I know they worked with animal control to get that one cat that had that huge dental abscess that the city tried to take care of for 1 to 2 months. Couldn't afford it anymore. I mean, there's ways that they can reach out to other rescues for help. So there are other avenues as well, other than just euthanizing. I mean, obviously, you know, not every rescue can take a cat in, but there certainly are those options that can be viewed.
Thank you for that. Anyone else have anything to share? Okay, I'm going to close this public hearing, officially the longest one we've ever had. I would personally like to say thank you to everyone that came, 98% respectful. And we listened. I hope you felt like we listened. We did. And I think everybody has a better understanding of the situations we're dealing with. Commissioners?
I'd like to table it for another meeting, either next week or the week after. I think we've got a few things that we want to clean up, so I'm willing to do that. I'd actually make a motion that we table this to a future meeting.
I'll second that. Yeah, let's not confine ourselves to a certain date.
Okay,
I'll second Larry's motion.
we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. The issue is tabled for now, and we will work with the Humane Society to figure out a path forward. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for recognizing this is not an easy situation.
It is not.